students, welcome to Classroom TV. I hope you are doing good, staying safe during COVID times and going through each and every content on Classroom TV. So in our last class, as we discussed the important components and important components of food, and even we learnt like how these essential nutrients of food are required, and even we learnt about carbohydrates, proteins and the requirements and the food ingredients which are required to prepare the food items. It's not like only just you're enjoying the delicious food or the food which you're going to have. Even you should, we have learnt about like ingredients which are used, the materials which are required for making those food. And even we learn the food is obtained from plants and animal sources. In our next chapter, we are going to start with chapter called Fiber to Fabric, or how fabrics are made. So, did you ever heard about this word, children, like fiber? So, what do you mean by fiber here? A fiber is nothing but it's called as a thread like structure. Threads, you know, basic threads. So, the clothes which you are wearing, do you know from where they are obtained, or how they have been made, or how they are manufactured or produced? Have you ever think about, have you trying to know about it? Yes. So, in our today's chapter, we are going to learn about this, how these fibers are converted into a fabrics. Fabric is nothing but it's a type of cloth. So, we try to prefer different types of clothes. Yes, you can say like it's one type of style like which you try to maintain, or you try to wear the different types of clothes. Yes. So, from where do we get the clothes now? So, as we said, like how the plants are responsible, like the plants and animals are the sources of food. In the same way, plants and animal sources are also even responsible for the food which we, the clothes which we wear. So, not only the food which we are eating to get energy or the nutrients to we stay safe, to stay fit, healthy, and even you can find, or even you can say like the clothes which you are wearing every day to protect yourselves from heat, from rain, from cold. Yes, there are different weather conditions. As you know, there are different seasons. Summer season, rainy season, winter season. So, definitely you know, like we prefer the different types of clothes according to the climate or according to the season. So, even this what you say, the clothes are also means the plants and animal sources are responsible even for the production of cloth or generation of those clothes which you are wearing today. So, that is the chapter which you are going to learn in our today's class, that is called as fiber to fabric, or how these fabrics are made, means how these clothes are made, how that particular fiber which you are calling as a single thread like material, that single thread like material is responsible to convert, means how that fiber gets converted to fabric, and how these different clothes are prepared and how they are used, or what are the different methods of making them. So, that all we are going to discuss it. So, first we are going to learn in today's class, we will learn like what are these fabrics made up of. So, from how they are made up of. So, as we know the sources, like from earlier classes, you know, different types of clothes, woolen clothes, cotton clothes. Yes, you know, like wool is obtained from sheep, cotton is obtained from plants, silk is obtained from silkworm. So, silk clothes, woolen clothes, cotton clothes, so different types of clothes. The cloth, in the type of cloth which you are saying is called as fabric here. So, that fabrics are made from what kind of sources, how they are made available to us. So, you know, like these are obtained from the plants and animal sources, but how long and how they are made, that we are going to learn in our today's class. Let's start. So, you can find the different seasons. Can you see it's rainy season? So, you can know the different seasons goes with different look of wear. So, different seasons we wear different types of clothes. We prefer to wear different types of clothes. So, the clothes which you are saying, it's only nothing but that is only called as fabrics here. Yes, so you can find a person. So, this is like you can see by just seeing the picture itself, you can say that it's winter season. So, we try to wear, what kind of clothes do you prefer wearing in winter season? Yes, we try to wear the warm type of clothes. We wear warm clothes like woolen clothes. Yes, woolen type of clothes. Woolen clothes are mostly preferred. We mostly go wherever, even during rainy season and even winter season, we try to protect our body from cold, and we try to protect our body and try to keep it warm. So, in order to keep it warm, so we try to go with some type of those fabrics which we call as woolen clothes here. So by this picture itself you can see, so different types of clothes. Can you see? Now this you can say it as a sweater. So even a sweater which is made, it's a form of wool. It's obtained from wool. Then you can find here, this is what you can see here, what is this? Sun. So this is when you say it's a woman, you can see she's just catching a fan like thing and trying to get free herself, because as she's feeling hotter, means it's so hot here. So this is like summer season. So you can find the different seasons. So the way, as we know, there are different seasons, and because they change periodically from then and then, from time to time, from place to place, there's a variations, or you can find there's a change in the seasons which can lead to prefer the different types of clothes which we wear. So in this chapter we learn like how these different types of clothes whichever you are wearing are from what kind of extract and from which ways and which sort of sources you are getting it available, and how it's been made, that we are going to learn here. Let's start. So you can find that, or you can say by seeing the picture, so you can say that we use fabric as a shield to protect ourselves. Yes, it's used as a protecting material. The fabric is nothing but it's a cloth. So we are using that, so we can say that we are using a cloth as a shield to protect ourselves from different weather conditions. So what are the different weather conditions here? We have cold, we have heat, and etc. So these are the different weather conditions. So along with protection, clothes can also be a symbol of beauty and safe status. So as well as the clothes whichever you wear, it's been used for some 2 to 3 different purposes. It's one way is like you are trying to protect yourself from the type of climate, either from cold, from heat and warm, and the other way also it's like it's a symbol, means the clothes which you wear gives you an attraction, it gives you a beauty, it will show your status. So that is also important here. So this is all we obtain from that fiber which turns into fabric. And the choice of fabric may vary from person to person, because all the person doesn't wear the same type of clothes. They prefer, they have their own choice, they have their own preference, their own use. So use on this by type of those, then they go for the usage also. That's you are going to learn here. So vary from persons, and some may like to wear on the clothes made up of only light in weight color, light, thin, shiny fabric. So there are different forms. So how these different forms of fabrics are made? Yes, because some prefer, because each and every person's choice prefers from one another. It does not remain the same. It's not found to be same. You can find like some the fabrics whichever you find, like some people try to wear the light kind of fabrics, some go with thin, and some want to be very shiny appearance. They want to look more beauty and get attracted to them, so they go with shiny type of fabric material. So here you can find that's the consequences of this, which gives you the information of this, like which you are trying to find. So each and everybody has their own choice of wearing clothes, but how it's then been made, that's we have to find here to know that. So our purpose, that's use, our use and the properties of fabric together determines which type of fabric can be used for each purpose. So because here we should know the use of it. So without the use or without its application, whichever type of material or whatever you are trying to wear it or trying to have it, you should know its own importance and its own use also. So you simply you can't just waste out of those sources which are available to you. So for that's the reason here, which type of fabric or which type of cloth can be used for any such purpose. So as we know, like during summer season we prefer to wear cotton clothes. So we go for cotton clothes more to be available during this season, where we try to prefer that. In winter season and all, woolen clothes. So here the type of fabric means the type of cloth which is available to us during the time or during the usage or during that purpose only, we try to prefer it and have it. Yes, so that's most important here. So you should know like which type of fabric or which type of cloth is required or used for which type of season or which type of weather conditions. So this all should be known as a form of it. That's one. And even coarse fabric means it's like rough fabrics or the shiny, or you can say which is not such much fine, not fine, So those can be used for mopping and for making gunny bags. Yes, you know, gunny bags are long, what you say, like huge bags, like to carry huge material. And you know, rice bags. And now, as you can find, like this, rice bags are also mostly packed in plastic type of material, but you can find in Asian medieval times, even you can find now it's also, but in villages and towns, where they used to pack the huge materials like rice, is paddy, grown wheat, maize, johar, and these all different crops which are cultivated by farmers. They go for that, and we try to pack that material by using these gunny bags. Yes, means here you will be learning about some properties also. Means the type of cloth or the type of fabric which you are going to afford, or which you are going to take it, going to purchase it, or when you are going to wear it, or going to have, there should be some properties of those. Like it should be expensive, it should be not so expensive, it should be available to at a cheaper rate so that each and everyone can afford it. That's one. And it should quickly absorb water, and it should be durable. It should give us for a longer time. It should not be seen that just it's used only for some couple of days and it gets spoiled. And along with that, and the cloth also which you will prefer, it should be softer and it should be well good. So in such, because we can't expect like always these all properties are expected in all the type of fabrics or in all the types of clothes. So in such cases, when you find that particular cloth, whichever if you find which is manufactured or which is prepared is found to be rough, or which is not that much fine as soft as those clothes or those fabrics which we prefer to wear. So those kind of fabrics we call as coarse fabrics. So those coarse fabrics can be used for mopping, for cleaning purposes you can use, and for making gunny bags. So for these users applications you can use it. That's one. And but not for making clothes. We can't use this because this cloth, this type of fabric, it's not fit for making clothes. So then they can go for this alternative use of this. They can go for this manufacturing of gunny bags, and they can go for mopping and all. And some other properties will have to be considered for choosing the curtain fabrics. As I said, like the other properties which made it special, which is special from other, because those were kind of cloth which is suitable or which is so special that by using those following properties, by considering those following properties, we come to know about that these are being used and these are available to us in plenty with these properties and these advantages. It should be advantageous and it should be well used by each and everyone, and it should be applicable, and it should have many such uses, and there should be multi-purpose type of uses which you have to find across this. So in such forms and that uses you are going to learn in this. So here even school bags and gunny bags were made from some kind of fabric. So here, as I said, like the fabrics, those clothes, the type of cloth which is not suitable for making different varieties of clothes. So those kind of material and those kind of fabrics are suitable for making some other, making this school, even the school bags which you carry to your schools, and gunny bags that are made from this kind of fabric. And they try to identify these fabrics as cotton, wool, silk or synthetic. So again, when they try to manufacture this type of clothes, and again in that they will try to classify, and then they go with a different type of material, of a type of clothing. As I said, like as we know about this common types of clothes like wool, silk, cotton. So this kind of type of clothing has been identified, during which they try to prepare this coarse or rough kind of fabric which is not suitable for making clothes. Either they can go for this manufacturing of school bags which you carry, and even the gunny bags and all. Yes children? Yes. The next comes like things made up of fabric then. So what are the things which we expect out of this? Means the different type of clothes, the cloth which you obtain from a fiber, that's a thread like structure. So before to that, like what are the things made up of this that we should find? So cotton fabrics are somewhat thicker than polyester fabrics. Coarse cotton clothes are heavier, and after washing, cotton clothes gets wrinkled. Yes. So here we are trying to know with some properties here. So here you can find like cotton fabrics are thicker, and they are found to be what you say like with polyester fabrics. Now we will be learning about synthetic fibers and natural fibers concept also here. So before that, here they are trying to compare the cotton fabrics and polyester fabrics. So you can say cotton fabric is the natural fiber, It's a natural fiber. Yes, it's a natural fiber. So it's when you're trying to compare this natural fiber with synthetic fiber, that's man-made fibers which we say here. So here this polyester is artificial fiber which you say, and even we say man-made, or which you also say as synthetic also. Even you say as synthetic. So synthetically or artificially. So when you take the coarse, the hard substance, as I said, rough cotton clothes or hard cotton clothes which are harder, which are not found to be softer. So those kind of rough or harder cotton clothes are found heavier compared to this cotton clothes which are suitable for making clothes. So after washing, cotton clothes gets wrinkled. You can see lot of wrinkles are formed. Then in such cases, what we do, then silk fabric is smooth to touch, whereas woolens are somewhat heavier than silk fabric. So we are trying to compare all the types of clothes here. So again, when you try to prefer to go with silk fabric, silk clothes, you can find they are smooth to touch, but whereas woolen clothes are found somewhat heavier when you compare with silk. Yes, so these are those forms of those which you are comparing here. Cotton clothes found to be lighter, whereas silk foam or silk clothes are also lighter and they are smooth to touch and they give lot of attraction. The appearance looks very shiny. That's the reason silk clothes are preferred, and even they are found to be costlier than cotton and woolen also. Yes, silk clothes gives us the shiny appearance. Yes. So in such forms, so here what you do now, so when you're trying to compare the silk fabrics with woolen fabrics, and also you can find that silk fabrics are soft, you can say it's a very smooth to touch and shiny, but simultaneously when you're trying to compare the silk with woolen, whereas wool is not been shy with shiny appearance and all, as you know it's obtained from sheep and all, but it's heavier compared to silk. So that kind of comparison also which is expected out here. Then now next, exactly as we have compared, then we try to find or trying to know like how exactly or how these fabrics are made up of, what kind of material it's been found. So see here, when you look at any fabric or any cloth, it appears to be single continuous piece. So if you see it, it is like you can see lot of threads are woven together. Actually it's a single thread which are woven together. And when you see it very closely, when you see it, you can find what you can find that you can take one thread and scratch its end. Okay, suppose now this is one type of fabric cloth. This is one fabric or one one cloth material. It can be any cloth material. It can be cotton, it can be silk or wool, which any one such sample. Just you take a piece of cloth and try to take one thread out of this. Now you can see that in this, these are all are the layers. They are the layers which are grouped together. Means these are all group of threads now. This group of threads which are woven together. Yes, they are woven together. So in such case, so when you try to look it very closely, you can see that it consists of single threads. Can you see here? These all single threads. So there are group of single threads. So each single thread. So when you are trying to scratch its end. So try to go from its one end. Can you see? Now try to pull or try to scratch one end of the fiber. Scratch one end of its what you say the fabric cloth which you take, and just try to scratch it. So once you start scratching it and observe through your magnifying lens, because you can't see it very clearly, like because they are so minute, and the group of threads, the single threads which are grouped together to make that because the single threads are grouped together to give you a particular group, what you say of fabric cloth material. So in such, so when you where you are able to see through the fine structure of thread, so we can't able to visualize it properly just by seeing it nakedly. So in such cases, you can go with a magnifying lens and you can find that this all the group of threads which are woven together, and when you are trying to scratch one end of it, you can find these are all, that's nothing but it consists of one single thread. That one particular single thread, it's nothing but which we call as fiber, which is responsible together, which is responsible for joining together and makes it a fabric or one piece of cloth. That's important. So, for here, so you can find there are thread like structures. Can you see now these are thread like structures or no? So, thread like structures, single thread like structures. So, the single thread like structures which you find in the fabric, these threads are also called yarn. We say them as yarn also, and this fabric is made up of yarn, and the end of the yarn is separated into thin strands. So, now here this is actually, you can say it as yarn also, and this yarn, when you are trying to separate it separately into single thread like structures, and those single thread like structures at the end of the yarn is separated into thin strands also. So, you can say this as thin strands. So, these are all the terms children which you should remember it. Yes, first we are going with a type of yarn, that is a fabric cloth or material. From that, when this end, the group of thread, when it is starts from one end, it gets separated into single thread like structures, and the single thread like structures which acts as like thin strands. Yes, which is given. So, here this thin strand of thread is made up of still thinner strands. So, still further, if you have just taken one part of a thread, but you can further, you can see that one part of thread which acts as a strainer can be again further being divided, or further can be separated into more smaller and smaller and smaller, more thinner materials which you can get it here. And these thinner strands are called as fibers. We call those thinner strands as fibers here. Yes, and each fabric, that is each cloth, is made of yarn. So, if it is cotton fabric, if it is a cotton cloth, it is made up of cotton yarn. It consists of cotton fibers, that is it, cotton thinners. Yes, cotton yarn. So, overall cotton threads you are going to find a single thread, and which is derived from cotton fiber. In the same way, the fibers of some fabrics. So, the fibers can also be not only just cotton, you can see the fibers of some fabrics like cotton, jute, silk and wool are obtained from plants and animals. So, you can find that not only just, so as we know the sources, so all these as we said like now there are different types of fabrics, different types of clothes. So, each fabric means every fabric is made up of yarn, and suppose if you go for cotton fabric, it is made from cotton yarn. If you go for silk fabric, it is made from silk yarn, woolen. So, you have different sources here. So, these all different sources of clothes, different sources of extracting or manufacturing or preparing the fabrics are obtained from plants and animal sources. So, as we said, like even food which we are getting is from plants and animals, even the type of clothes which you are wearing is also from plants and animals. Yes, children, yes. So, these are called as natural fibers. So, the fibers whichever means the fibers of some fabrics, the thread like structures whichever you obtain to make a particular cloth. So, those cloths are nothing but which we call as fabrics. So, whichever type of fabrics are obtained from plant and animal sources, so those kind of fibers or those kind of fabrics which we call as natural fibers. Yes, whichever the available fibers which you find, so whichever the forms you will find, so whichever the fibers which every form of the obtained from plants and animal sources, those fibers which you call as natural fibers here. Yes, and cotton and jute are the examples of that such fibers, because cotton and jute, these are obtained from plant sources. Yes, so you can say that the cotton and jute are those natural fibers which are obtained from plants. In the same way, if you go for wool and silk fibers, wool and silk fibers are obtained from animal sources. Yes, so there are you can group of, or you can say like there are the group of those fibers which are available from plants and as well as from animals. So, we classified now. So, if you go for the example of cotton and jute are obtained from plant sources, cotton plant and jute plant. Then if you go for silk and wool, you know, it obtained from animals, silkworm and sheep. So, wool is obtained from the fleece of sheep or goat, and it is also obtained from the hair of rabbits, yak and camels also up to some extent. And as you know, silk fiber is drawn from cocoon of silkworm. So, as you know, silk is obtained from silkworm. So, these are the sources of these fibers which are available to us in natural forms or the natural sources, that's plants and animal sources. So, apart from natural sources, the plants and animals, even the fibers or the fabrics are prepared synthetically, man-made also. So, those are called as synthetic fibers, which you will be learning in your higher classes, but here we are going to concentrate on natural fibers as per your chapter. Yes, let us see. So, for thousands of years, natural fibers were the only ones available for making fabrics. For many years, you can find the natural fibers were well used and it was quite sufficient. But as there is an increase in population, yes, as population increases, then definitely there is a demand for more amount of clothes. We can't just roam here and there simply. So, there is lot of demand for it. For that's the reason you can find in last 100 years or so, fibers were also made from chemical substances which are not obtained from plants or animal sources, because only from the source of plants and animals sources to obtain these fibers was not sufficient in order to meet the population demands and all. So, in such forms, in such uses, they try to go with some fibers which were made from some chemical extract by adding some chemical substances, and those are called as synthetic fibers, and those kind of fibers are called as synthetic fibers. Because some examples of synthetic fibers you can see like polyester, nylon, acrylic. So, these are the synthetic fibers, like how we have learnt about natural fibers like cotton, silk, wool, yes, and the same way you can find some of the synthetic fibers like polyester, nylon, acrylic. So, just you should know the names of these children. You will be learning about this preparation manufacturing in coming higher classes in 7th and 8th like that. Next comes like some plant fibers. So, as per our syllabus, we are going to start with some plant fibers, which are nothing but where plants is the source of manufacturing or extracting the fibers which we call natural fibers. So, let us start with the first fiber, which is cotton here. So, we are going to learn about cotton and jute extraction of those fibers in your syllabus which is given. So, have you ever made wicks for oil lamps, or what do you use for making these wicks? Yes, you can find like whenever there is a diya which you says in a common language, or whenever there is like candles also, which candle have you seen, whenever you light a candle it contains a thread inside it. So, those thread is made up of cotton. So, even the oil lamps, the wicks which you are going to burn or when you light an oil lamp also contains this cotton thread like material, a cotton thread like structure which you call as cotton fiber here. So, what do you use for making these wicks? How they are obtained here? So, this is nothing but the cotton wool is also used for filling mattresses, quilts and pillows. So, you can see applications here, not only just the oil lamps, the wicks for oil lamps, along with that even you can see the other uses, cotton wool combination which you can see for making mattresses now, and take some cotton wool and put it apart and look at its edges. What you are going to observe? So, if you take any piece of cotton woolen part and try to pull one end of its edge, like as we were trying to find the difference of that, and we were talking about yarn of thread like structures which you find. So, even in the case of cotton wool also you can do so, and the small thin strands that you see are made up of cotton fibers only. Yes, the thin strands which you say, that thread like structures. So, this thread like structures which you call as strands, which are made up of cotton fibers, which you are going to see here. So, cotton plants are usually grown at places having black soil and warm climate. So, where the cotton plants are grown, because now cotton fabric, that's cotton fiber as a natural source, as we know, it's from plants, it is obtained from cotton plant. So, where they expect the cotton plant grown or cultivated. So, cotton plants are grown at those places where if you find black soil, where availability of black soil and warm climate. So, mostly I think it's in our country, in our state, Maharashtra state is famous for get available cotton. You can see there is lot of black soil available in that area. So, you can find now this is the cotton plant. Yes, you can see this is like this is called as cotton. Yes, cotton field also. So, the fruits of the cotton plant, that cotton balls, you can say this as cotton balls now. They are called as cotton balls. So those are about the size of a lemon size. They look like round, like a lemon size. You know lemon, no children? So it's look like a lemon size. Maturing, the balls burst open and the seeds covered with cotton fibers can be seen. So once the seed starts opening, when you see the seeds gets open, you can find the appearance of those cotton balls in the form of lemon size and all, or those balls which tries to move up or try to explore themselves. And it looks like a field covered with snow also. Can you see? It's looking, the overall the look which you see, it's covered, that overall you can see those cotton balls which appears as like it's covered with the snow, like ice snow. So you can see the field appearance looks like snow, covered snow. It's look like covered snow. Yes, the ice in the form of solid gets covered in the form of snow because it's whitely, which you can see that it's like the snowy type. Yes. So from these balls, the cotton is usually picked by hand. So you can go for now, as soon as you can see this cotton balls, so they can just be picked up by hand. Just you can try to pull it out from the seeds and from the field also. That's one way. So the fibers are then separated from the seeds by combing, or this process which we call as ginning of cotton. So this process of separating these fibers from the cotton seeds, okay, can be done by just by combing and all, trying to trying to extract it by hand and all, and that process which we call as ginning of cotton. We say it as ginning of cotton here. You can find here. So these seeds are separated. So you can see ginning was traditionally done by hand. A person, ginning process. Yes, you can say ginning cotton. Ginning cotton to obtain cotton fiber. From this fiber, we are trying to again convert into that fabric or that cloth which you are expecting here. So this ginning was traditionally done by hand. So you go with hand here, and these days machines are also used for ginning. Yes, but instead of going with hand, as there was as you know, there's advancement in technology. So you can find that this ginning is mostly it's been done by with some machines also. This ginning machines also, which you can see. This is an old traditional method where you can just do it and try to wash out all the seeds and try to get rid of all these impurities of those which present in that, and trying to get those cotton balls in pure form. Yes. And once these cotton forms are obtained, then we make making yarn from the cotton fiber. Now when we start making the thread-like structures, we should get thread-like structures. Again, this thread-like structures, which is nothing but it is in form of fiber. Again, this fiber gets grouped together, woven together to make the thread-like structures which are formed together to give you a single cloth of that. And then later it's been made for clothing and for the purpose and the uses which you see here and which you are learning here. Yes, so all of these applications which you find mostly goes with the use of this here. Yes, so in all of these uses, we are trying to find the way, the process, how it's been manufactured or used here. Yes, so that's we are finding. So cotton fiber is collected after removing the seeds from cotton ball. Yes, once you remove the seeds only, then we said. Then what it will be, what you are going to do, we need to wash it thoroughly, clean it and then comb it. Then this fine cotton fiber is used to make cotton yarn now, the thread-like structures and all. You are going to dye it, yarns are dyed, it means colored and coated with chemicals. You are going to mix with some chemicals. Then they become strong enough to make fabrics. Then they can be converted into the clothing material or the piece of cloth which you are expecting it to make into the different designs and the shapes which you are willing here. So all the forms of those which you are trying to go for its extraction, because each and every part of which we are going to select it here, that gives you the most important factor of it. Yes. Then next we are going to see spinning the cotton yarn. So how it is spin means how this yarn, that's what you say as fiber, that's thread like structures, are woven into a fabric, how they are being woven into a fabric type of. So here what you do now, hold some cotton wool in one hand and pinch some cotton between the thumb and forefinger of the other hand. Yes, you can see now. Now this is a cotton thread. Yes, that's which you call as cotton fiber. Yes, because before it gets changed or gets converted into fabric, a piece of cotton cloth, first you are trying to go with its conformation and trying to find its strength, till what extent and how strong is the thread or that material, that's cotton which you have obtained from the cotton plant, is can hold up to what extent or till what ways and how it's used, that you are going to find here. So for that's the reason what you are going to do, you are going to take the thread and you are going to hold between the thumb and the forefinger. You need to just catch as is shown and try to pull out the cotton while continuously twisting the fiber. So you need to pull it and try to twist it or pull it, so to see that till what end it can able to bear the weight, or till what extent, if it's till what end, if you are trying to extend it, not going to pull it or remains the same, it not going to break, so that all you are going to go for it. And the process of which this making a yarn from fiber is called is called as spinning here. Yes, we call it as spinning. So ginning is done. So ginning is a process. Ginning of cotton is nothing but we are trying to separate the cotton seeds from cotton and trying to collect those cotton balls. Again, those cotton balls which acts as yarn here, this yarn which is in form of fiber. Before you are going to convert this fiber into a fabric to make a cloth material, first you go with this process of making yarn from these fibers, from this thread like structure which you call as fiber here, the cotton thread like structure which you call as fiber is yet yarn is called as spinning here. And in this process, fibers from a mass of cotton wool are drawn out and twisted. So they try to first go with the end and they apply the pressure and they twist it, then they try to find with the strength and all, and then these fibers will bring together to form a yarn. So when they try to twist it and try to mold it into different sizes, shapes and all, then overall they come together, or they try to pull and twist it in such a way that this part of those fibers which can come together to form a yarn. Those all thread like structures which are grouped together to give you a fine shape of those. Again you are going to do for the further process, you are going to carry to give you a fabric, it's a cloth which gives you a cloth. So a simple device which is used for spinning is a hand spindle, which is also called as tuckly, or another operated device used for spinning is called as charka. I think you might be knowing about this, children. These are all forms, even in social science you will be learning in your social studies, when Mahatma Gandhi also used to use this this charka to prepare the fabric material, the cloth like material during British's time, when our country was facing lot of trouble from Britishers during independence time. This was also one part of movement when Gandhiji started this, so that also we are going to discuss. So what is that matter now when you want to do spinning? So that spinning is a hand spindle which we call simply as tuckly, or the another way of using this spinning method is the spinning can be done by using a charka. And use of charka was popularized by Mahatma Gandhi, as I said, as a part of independence movement, and he encouraged people to wear clothes made of homespun yarn termed as khadi and shun imported cloth. So you can find now this is called as your, yes, what is this called as? We gave here charka. Yes, the spinning method, in form of spinning method. So during his, as I said, it's a part of independence movement. During this, Mahatma Gandhi has encouraged each and every one to wear this kind of clothes which are done spinning through the charka and homespun yarn termed as khadi. So this type of spinning which was done by this spinning done by this fabric fabric gave you the clothes called as khadi. Yes, khadi cloths, and also they were very famous, and all started enlightened and got encouraged by the movement which was led forward by Mahatma Gandhi, and they started doing so, and they tried to wear this kind of clothes which were made of this charka and khadi, and shun the imported cloth made in the mills of Britain and all. So it was being made in mills of Britain because it started this movement from there itself and tried to get rid of that, and this was one of the major exploration, also invention part, which you can take, which leads to independent movement also. That's one. And then to popularize and promote khadi, Government of India constituted a body called Khadi and Village Industries Commission in 1956. Then once after getting independence, as we know, we got independence in 1947. Then later government has trying to popularize it, to know about it more, the fame and the content, to know about it more, so they popularize it and try to promote this khadi. The Government of India constituted a body called Khadi and village industries were established, and they started doing so. And later the spinning of yarn on large scale is done with the help of spinning machines. So they use spinning machines later. As you know, it's been shown as charka, which was of old form, and later after spinning, yarns are used for making fabrics. And once spinning is done, then they can, this particular cotton fiber, which is called is yarn, once it's made into yarn in the form of fiber, it gets converted into fabric, the different type of cloth which you can make the different designs, and you can use this cotton cloth which you can enjoy and wearing it in summer season. So this is the way, the form which you learnt, the first form of how this cotton yarn gets manufactured and obtained from the plant sources, which is a form of natural fiber, we have discussed in our today's class. I hope you have understood it, children. In next class we are going to do the other part of fiber which is also obtained from plants. We are going to discuss about jute and with some applications and uses, the jute fiber. Yes, I think you have understood it. So once again, go through the content whatever we discussed by visiting to our website classroomtv.in. Visit to our website and go through all the content whatever we discussed. I hope you have understood it, and keep enjoying and watch Classroom TV. We will meet in our next class with the next continuation part of this fiber which is obtained from plant sources.